Coming up on NFL Primetime, Tim Tebow shines late in Florida. What to make of the rest of the game and where the Broncos go from here. Meanwhile, Carson Palmer made his Raiders debut. Let's just say it wasn't exactly what they had in mind. How can he get better the next time out? Plus, Monday Night Football, the Ravens look to deliver a smackdown to the Jags. We've got it all ahead on Primetime.
Welcome to NFL Primetime, presented by Bud Light.
And here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome into another edition of NFL Primetime. As always, glad you're here with us. Trey Wingo alongside Merrill Hodge and Tim Hasselback. It was a weird Sunday in the NFL. There's really no other way to explain it. It caps off tonight with a Monday Night Football game in Jacksonville between the Ravens and the Jags. And for the very latest on what to expect tonight, time for a DirecTV team report. And for that, we say hello to Sal Palantonio. Sal, the Ravens, all about that defense, and they may be getting a critical component back tonight.
Trey, let's get right to the news. Cornerback Jimmy Smith, the rookie, the first-round pick for the Ravens, who blew out his ankle on the opening kickoff of the opening game against the Steelers. He will play tonight. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh told me Smith will be on the field. He won't start, but he wants to see Smith play in this football game. For the Ravens defense, job one is obvious. Stop running back Moreeeee Jones-Drew. He's the heartbeat of what they do on offense. And you know, Moreeeee Jones-Drew has faced a lot of 8 defenders in the box all year long. Most in the National Football League, 24, 5 yards a carry against 8 defenders in the box. Most in the AFC this year. As for Joe Flacco and that Ravens offense, Joe Flacco told us he's got to stop turning the ball over in the pocket. He's got 4 fumbles, 3 of them lost in the last 3 games, and he's got 2 interceptions and no touchdown passes in the last 2 games. He said, I can't fumble the ball in the pocket. I can't put my defense in that position. And Ray Lewis told us, do not expect any letdown whatsoever from the #1 defense in the National Football League. Matter of fact, he said, we didn't even have to talk about any kind of trap game. He said, practice this week was high intensity, up-tempo. The players were in control every practice all week long, and he expects this defense to come out charging right from the opening bell.
All right, Sal, thanks. And obviously that's what Baltimore wants to do. Jacksonville probably wishes they wouldn't come out charging from the opening bell. But this Ravens defense, Merrill, doesn't know how to go backwards. They only go forward. And they know defense in this town. The 2001 was pretty good. This one's pretty good, too.
Yeah, and listen, I know in the football world, everybody knows Ray Lewis. But to watch him on tape and watch the intensity in which he plays is absolutely mind-boggling. In his 16th year, yes, he's lost a little speed sideline to sideline. But his intensity, his smarts, how they use him has been so impressive. I mean, they don't just line him up at middle linebacker and blitz him. Boy, they put him up over the guard. They're going to do a lot of things tonight that if you don't watch closely, you'll miss. And I know the guys in the booth will point it out. But I want to show you, Rob G, you roll this real quick, is some things that they do with him. He is a blitzing maniac. The guy has intensity. I love watching. When I think of all the players in the National Football League, I love to plug in the tape and watch. This guy right here defensively is one of my favorites, Ray Lewis. How they use him, how he tackles. He's fundamentally sound. And when you think about their defensive line today, watch this. I mean, you've heard about Elodie Nada, but they have a lot of guys in the trenches that have solidified and allowed this defense to be as dominant as it has been over as long as Ray Lewis has controlled the middle. I still say 16 years. I mean, I don't think people can appreciate this. When you think of Brett Favre and how long he played, that's the quarterback position. This guy's in the box, in the trenches, physical contact every single down. I just don't think you can underestimate how amazing this guy has been throughout his career.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. That defense, quite honestly, has been phenomenal. But that doesn't mean there aren't ways to attack it. And it's going to be a tall order for that Jacksonville Jaguar offense to attack it. But there are ways to do it, and people have done it this year. We've seen the Houston Texans do it, and one of the ways you do it is you come off the run action. You do what they do best. They're a fast flow defense, so you use misdirection, buy your quarterback a little bit more time to attack them down the field. You also show them something that they're familiar with. They're going to read the route. The tight end's running an over route like you would on a bootleg or on a naked, And what that's going to do, that's going to tell the backside safety that that's what's coming. So he's going to jump that route, which puts Ed Reed in a tough spot to make an adjustment on the football. The other thing they try to do, that Ravens defense, they try to confuse you. It looks like man-to-man coverage. It looks like cover one across the board, but it's a different type of defense. When you look at this and you see everybody here, what you see is the safety in the middle of the field drives on the route. And if as a quarterback you're able to not play too fast and you're able to diagnose it, there's opportunities for big plays.
And outstanding getting your brother in there. I love how you were able to
listen,
slide down.
it was a big, he did throw for 358 against them. Let's remember that.
I love it, man. Hey, one little thing. Watch for a guy tonight that maybe is not a household name. Number 62, Terrence Cody. He has started to flash, and I will tell you this. When he plays big, Lodi Nada is even more dangerous, and then 52 on the back is even more reckless.
It's hard for Cody to play small.
Well,
let's be clear. By the way, America's wondering, Rob G is actually our producer.
Yeah, he wanted to roll cue, so I gave it to him.
Ed Curran is the director, so he would have actually rolled it.
I'm sorry, Ed.
Meanwhile, the Ravens lead the league in margin of victory this year, 22.5. We're taking them behind the scenes. When we continue on NFL Primetime, eventually the Jets and Chargers stop talking and actually played a game. Meanwhile, Cam Newton continues to put up amazing numbers, and in this game, got the most important number that goes with it, one in the win column. Plus, for 55 minutes, it was awful, but then for 5 glorious moments, it didn't matter.
NFL Primetime is presented by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. And in part by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. Magnifique. I'm thinking
the bikini.
Just stop talking.
What are these players thinking? You didn't call that.
But you know what we do have?
Pardon the interruption. Weekdays on ESPN America. The way of history.
Never see a better game than this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you'll agree.
Nations rise and fall and rise again.
Just win, baby.
Welcome back, Silver and Black.
We want to win the Super Bowl, and we think we can win the Super Bowl.
Will Darrelle Revis be playing for the New York Jets?
I'm going to do what's best for me.
If he comes walking through the door, that's fine.
Back left corner of the end zone. Caught! Jericho Cotchery in the end zone for Keller. He's got it! Antonio Holmes breaks a tackle. Brad Smith, 97 yards. Sanchez, Jet touchdown. Thrown down in the end zone. Incomplete. Jets win it. Touchdown. Touchdown. Touchdown, Jets.
We take a lot of slack. People gave us no chance, like we barely made the playoffs. We're a good football team. For all you non-believers, see you in Pittsburgh. Can't wait.
If you want to get on the inside track of Formula One, there's one dedicated website that can keep you up to speed. With live race commentary, expert analysis, statistics, and up-to-the-second news. ESPNF1.com. Online or download the app now.
You are watching NFL Primetime, presented by Bud Light.
Primetime rolls on. Trey Wingo here with Merrill Hodge and Tim Hasselbeck. You know, Sunday, leading up to the Jets game between the Chargers, there's a lot of talk, especially coaching smack talk.
Way too much.
Way too much. But eventually, it came down to not who would talk best, but who would play best for 4 quarters at MetLife Stadium. And then, of course, it's all smiles now. I really didn't way I would have rings. I was kidding. 4th play of the opening drive, Mark Sanchez under pressure, and he gets it to Dustin Keller, but Donald Butler strips it away. It was actually ruled a fumble, not an interception, and he's gone 37 yards for the score. San Diego staying classy, up 7-0. Antonio Gates back, Tim, and it's always nice to have this kind of weapon, especially in the red zone.
And so good to see him back in that San Diego offense, and you're right, Trey. In the red zone, does a great job of creating separation, and Rivers able to find him.
That made it 14-3, and we always talk about the great physical receivers for the Chargers. How about Malcolm Floyd? Are you kidding me, Merrill Hodge? A gain of 28.
Big time left hand, Phillip Rivers on the money here, but that is the one thing that he has not been consistent with this year is being accurate.
More on that later. That led to a Mike Tolbert touchdown to make it 21-10. Now it's 21-17.
Voila.
Stoink! Off the hands of Vincent Jackson, Darrelle Revis. He's not going back to the house for 2 straight weeks, is he? No. Run out at the 6 after a 64-yard. Look at the photographer. Oh, I got the money shot right there. Couldn't be any better. But then there's Plexico Burress. Finally, perhaps the breakout game for him, Tim.
Yeah, using him in the red zone. Face mask or higher, throws to Plexico, and he gives the ball to his family.
All right, that's one. And then back shoulder.
Yeah, you know what he should do? Go give that ball to his family as well. Hey, here's another one after my second TD.
Once, twice, 3 times the charm. High in the back of the end. Guess where this ball's going?
I think I know where it's headed.
There it is, going up there. Let's have a picture. All 3, 24-21, Jets lead. All right, ensuing Chargers drive. Rivers looking over the middle for Jackson, and Kyle Wilson comes up with the interception. That would lead to a field goal, making it 27-21, which means it's a 6-point game. So all you need to do, says Rex, if you're San Diego, is come up with a really nice 2-minute drive. They didn't have any timeouts, okay? 129. This is the best play of the entire drive. Over to Gates for a gain of 18.
Boy, and that one was a little bit behind, too.
That's correct. So now they finally run the next play with just over a minute left. Sometimes incompletions are better plays, right?
There's no doubt.
When you can't get out of bounds.
Well, right there. There's also no sense of urgency.
3-yard gain. And now the next play, 2nd and 7. Again, an incompletion is better there. Because
you can't get a first down.
3rd and 3 now on 17 seconds to go. And finally an incompletion to stop the clock. But that sets up 4th and 3 with 11 seconds left.
4th and 3.
4th and 3. It is 4th and 3. And that's it. Sales, 27-21. Phillips seemed a bit confused with Norv about what was going on there. But we'll get to the Chargers in a minute. But, Tim, we talked about it. Plexico Burress has said once that timing with Mark Sanchez gets there, this offense is going to go through the roof. I don't know if this was roof going through, but this was certainly something that we've seen before from Plexico when he played for the other team that played in that stadium.
Yeah, it wasn't going through the roof, but at the same time, the Jets using Plexico the way Plex really should be used. And you're right, Trey, we've seen him do that in the red zone in face mask or higher throws. That's how you use Plexico Burress. One thing he can do is he can win at the line of scrimmage, especially when you're down and tight. Look at Plexico, who's a big guy. Use that strength of his hands to get inside. Look at the ball location. But look at the real ace. Here it is. Plex's hands to club the defender by and slip him inside. And then there's that ball up high for Plexico to go get it. Now, on a back shoulder fade, Trey, as you had mentioned, he's going to push him inside, and then he's going to react to the football high and away. Very hard to defend that throw against Plexico Burress. Then again, winning at the line of scrimmage, which he can still do. Again, high in the back of the end zone is where this ball needs to be. That's where Mark Sanchez puts it. And there's Plexico Burress for the touchdown. So when you look at Plex and what he's good at, right there at the line of scrimmage, winning at the line of scrimmage with those that quick move in a short block there, that's impressive. That's how you need to use him. He's not a 90-catch guy. He's not a guy that will dominate the middle of the field, but you get into the red zone, he's very good at that.
Again, 3 touchdowns on Sunday. So listen, Merrill, the other equation here is the San Diego Chargers. And after the game, their tight end, Randy McMichael, said the Jets didn't do anything. The Chargers beat themselves. Agree with that at all?
For the most part, absolutely. And I think that when you look at Phillip Rivers, coming into this game, they had been so inconsistent in their passing game. And I really thought that, missing Antonio Gates was the missing link. And that's what was really throwing the rhythm off for Phillip Rivers in this offense. But they got Gates back. Gates is really good. And then I think of all the things that led up to what made Phillip Rivers look so bad. Even though they made big catches, even though they're throwing the football down the field, he just hasn't been as accurate. His decision-making hasn't been the same. Ball behind you when it should be in front of you. Just those little subtlety things that he has been so outstanding at. And what is kind of concerning if you're the San Diego organization on offense, a fan, you got Ryan Matthews, who is now a bull in a china shop. I mean, you got your rock. You got your foundation. I mean, they run at you. They're physical. They get on the perimeter. You just now need somebody that can complement it. And if it's a guy like Phillip Rivers that gives a little more than just a compliment, but a complete compliment, that's the things that most concerning, because Phillip Rivers is not dialed in. He's missing open targets. He's making bad choices. You had Gates back, so it does foul all on Phillip Rivers right now and having to straighten that out, because if he keeps playing like that, they're not going to get back in the. They're not going to get to the playoffs this year. Even though that division is struggling.
And they didn't get there last year with the #1 offense and the #1 defense. Jets, by the way, go into their bye week. Chargers head to Kansas City, which is suddenly playing a lot better next week for Monday Night Football. Meanwhile, AFC South showdown, Texans, Titans, and I think the Titans hit the snooze button on this one. Chris Johnson has sort of been sleepwalking through this entire season, and there he goes nowhere.
Well, I will tell you this, though, it's a better job of him hitting the hole, because the one thing he has been doing is hurting this offense by trying to create a big play every second.
10 carries for 18 yards. Let's just say the battle for the running back in this game was a landslide in favor of the former anti-awesome white stuff guy, Arian Foster. This is a great play. Schaub rolls right. Somehow Foster somehow gets loose, and he's gone all the way 78 yards for the score. He had a big game receiving and rushing. This is a great play design.
Yeah, you look at here, they're basically going to run a bootleg action by Matt Schaub. He's going to fake to Arian Foster, and then watch Arian Foster work his way through the line of scrimmage there. As the linebacker level turns and looks for the crossing routes, Matt Schaub then pulls up and finds Foster, and an excellent job of running in the open field to get into the end zone.
And he wasn't even the only Texan running back doing well. How about Big Ben Tate? They're up 20-0, and Ben Tate, Merrill pounding the rock, picks up 24 yards, and then on the very next play, he'll do it again.
That's great by Ben Tate, but if you look at the movement up front, what a great job by the Texan offensive line. Look at that movement. Look at the cuts, the running lanes. You got Sills here, you got Sills there. Ellie's everywhere.
That led to a 1-yard touchdown run. Tate, 15 rushes, 104 yards. And how about Foster one more time? Up the gut. Foster, the 4th player since the merger to have 100 rushing and receiving yards and 3 total TDs in a total disaster for Tennessee, 41-7. When we continue on primetime, Aaron Rodgers continues to be practically perfect at passing the football, no matter who's playing on the other side. And the Lions, well, they got a little bit of trouble now. How can they respond with this 2-game losing streak, courtesy of Roddy White and the Atlanta Falcons? Plus, I think it's important for Tampa to realize they should deny all future attempts at going to London, as they're 0 for 2.
Football lives here. Coverage starts with College Game Day, Saturday at 1500 CET, live on ESPN America.
In 2010, Jacksonville's Maurice Jones-Drew embodied toughness. He ran for over 1,300 yards for the 2nd consecutive season, despite playing with a torn meniscus in his knee. Jones-Drew recorded 6 straight games with 100-plus rushing yards, the 2nd longest streak in Jaguars history. With a healthy knee in 2011, MJD should help the Jaguars make a run for the playoffs.
What an unbelievable hop to the right by Arian Foster that makes Polamalu miss. That is extraordinary.
Foster. Still on his feet. A race to the end zone. 10, 5, touchdown.
And what vision and a cutback by Arian Foster.
From exotic escapes to spa indulgences to golf getaways, you'll discover your perfect retreat at Starwood Hotels and Resorts' brand new website, spg.com/resorts. Book your dream vacation at one of more than 200 amazing resorts and take advantage of our best rate guarantee. More luxury, more destinations. spg.com/resorts.
This is your not so fast game, right?
That's right. That's not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast. Ah, not so fast. Arizona State in a not-so-fast, my friend.
Not so fast, my friend. Oh.
Nobody remembers I was a coach now. They think I'm a pencil salesman.
The Black Dixon #2 pencil is going to kill him.
Lieutenant Colonel, not so fast.
Not so fast. Delayed, not so fast. Rocky Top, not so fast.
College Game Day, all season on ESPN America.
Tebow, quarterback draw. Tebow's going to be in the end zone. 2-point conversion.
91 yards to Marco Murray.
Looks back to the end zone, fires. Caught. Plexico Burris. He's got it again. Third touchdown of the game. Cam Newton to carry. Left side, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown.
Oh, Packers and Vikings continue on primetime here, and let's all appreciate the artistry with which Aaron Rodgers is playing the quarterback position. Packers down 7-0. Christian Ponder got the start from Minnesota and got him off to a good start, but Rodgers, come on.
I mean,
come on.
It's ridiculous.
To Greg Jennings. Come on.
Look at how quickly he gets through this read. Unbelievable.
To John Kuhn for a 2-yard score to tie it at 7. Third quarter, Rodgers. This is where he's so good. Pump fake, scramble, boy, reminiscent of that divisional playoff game against Atlanta. And hello, Greg Jennings.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of quarterbacks, when they get on the move, they don't see a guy when the coverage been busted, but Rodgers is always looking downfield.
Yeah, coaches probably say, Greg, a little more effort there. Maybe a little more.
I mean, come on.
I mean,
let's see, a quarter falls in. You're right. Safety.
Hello.
Safety.
Hello. Throw it to me. I'm all alone. There is no one with it. Thumbs up. Absolutely. Why not? And then one more time. Jermichael Finley. On the move, by the way, that throw. Are you kidding me?
The accuracy with what he does it. Wow.
335 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have 6 incompletions. Then there's Christian Ponder, and this was his first play from scrimmage. Now, it wasn't quite Matt Ryan, whose first throw was a touchdown a few years back, but this is to Michael Jenkins for 73, and he's ruled out at the 1. 2 plays later, Ponder will get that touchdown pass. Rolling right. That's a pretty good throw by him, too, to Visante Shenko. So Donovan McNabb giving it up for him. As for Adrian Peterson, Merrill, well, the cashier was in full effect.
Right there's, he is the most physical, violent runner in all of football. The most complete NFL runner that we have is Adrian Peterson.
That was 28 for 29, and I say 29, that's okay.
Right there.
How about 54?
Typical Adrian Peterson.
Just listen. Woo! He wants to hit you more than you want to tackle him.
He is a violent runner, bro.
175 yards on 24 carries, averaged over 7 per. All right, fourth quarter, Vikings down 33-20. Ponder, scrambling. They ruled that a late hit on the completion to Greg Camarillo.
This is almost mind-boggling because I will tell you this. You would take that type of hit and you would say, this is how we have to strike our quarterbacks and people that are vulnerable.
That's right out of the tape.
The target put out there is exactly what we're trying to get at. I don't get it.
Well, you're not alone. Then Ponder to Michael Jenkins. This time he will get in, so it's 33-27. Ponder is pumped. Hey, he played pretty well. Kid did a nice job.
Outstanding.
Under 3 minutes left, though, 3rd and 10, and that's incomplete. And they punted it away, didn't get it back. Leslie Frazier and the Vikes go down. Oh, to be in London, the annual game overseas between the Bears and Bucks. We don't know if Pippa was there, but I'm sure she might have been. Wembley Stadium, the site for the game, and we've said this before and we'll say it again. Matt Forte, pay the man. Pay the man. He's about 80% of the Chicago Bears offense, and that is one heck of a run for 32 yards. Let's look at this through ESPN Access.
Yeah, you look at this here, really just a good job of the guys up front. You see Chris Spencer's going to get out in front of Matt Forte, and Matt Forte then, as we spin this around, you see him hit the hole, and then when he gets up into the open field here, you see the guys blocking downfield for him. Unbelievable in the open field, making guys miss, avoiding some of his own guys on the way to the end zone here. Tremendous job by Matt Forte and those guys up front.
He's been doing it all season long, 145 yards on the ground. Meanwhile, if you were a former Cowboy, this was a really good day for you in London. Roy Williams, who's been AWOL in the Bears offense, makes his first contribution after getting his passport stamped. Bears lead 14-2.
Marion Barber.
What
a pickup for my fantasy team.
Runs it in for 12. How come Sam Hurd didn't score? Also another former Cowboy with the Bears. Well, where was his mistake? Josh Freeman struggled, and that's just a great play by Chris Conte. That's a great play. by Chris Conti, Tim.
An excellent job driving on the football. You see here, Mike Williams has a hard time handling it, and then good concentration with all of that contact by Chris Conti.
And then this play, Bucks trailing 21-5, and Lance Briggs is there for the interception, who will return it all the way back to the 1-yard line. However, he'll be brought back to the Bucks 40 on a penalty. Fourth quarter, same score. Freeman, Brian Urlacher, all these years later, still making great plays. Freeman's third interception, there was a fumble. They ruled it was a mess. 37 seconds to go, Bucks trailing 24-18. DJ Moore. Freeman is taking a step back this year, 29 of 51 in a 24-18 loss, 4 interceptions. The Bears go on the right side of 500. When we continue on NFL Primetime, this was not the Carson Palmer the Raiders had in mind when they made the trade to go get him. And Pittsburgh getting on a little bit of a roll, 3 in a row. How good can they be? And how good was Tim Tebow's finish after an absolutely disastrous start?
You've waited all season, and the time has finally come. Welcome to the Fall Classic, where every pitch has you on the edge of your seat, where every play means more than any moment of the season, where history is made.
The Cardinals win the National League pennant. The Texas Rangers, American League champions.
The 2011 MLB World Series continues tonight at 0130 CET, live on ESPN America.
In just his second season, Mike Wallace became the Pittsburgh Steelers' #1 receiver with over 1,250 yards and 10 touchdowns. Wallace's speed made him a deep threat for the Steelers, averaging 21 yards per catch. He also led the league with 7 100-yard receiving games. After losing in the Super Bowl in 2010, the Steelers have a return trip in mind, and Mike Wallace will once again be one of the Steelers' biggest offensive weapons.
Says here that New England's pretty good. Any questions?
It's a tough rivalry, and you better bring your A game to play the Patriots.
Every game has some type of implication.
2 tough organizations.
They can embarrass you.
It's always trash talking.
A lot of talk about Tom Brady.
It's always a great rivalry because he's such a tremendous talent. They're not afraid to rub it in your face.
Our coaches might not like each other.
Well, I'm not looking forward to, going against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, because they clearly are the best team in football is what it looks like. What everybody says, all the experts say, except me.
That divisional game last year.
Finally, we took something from them that was important. We got their attention.
It's always going to be that rivalry.
In rugby, you can guarantee there'll be blood, sweat, but no tears. Rain will never stop play. Johnny will get it over when it really matters. And with guts comes the glory. And now you can also guarantee there's one website that's in the thick of it with big stories, highlights, news and views. ESPNScrum.com. Total Rugby guarantee.
Welcome back to Primetime. I'm Sal Paolantonio in Jacksonville. Of all the things the Ravens defense has done this year, giving up the fewest points in the National Football League, they've only allowed 6 points in the fourth quarter all year long. That's why coaches and players for the Jaguars say it's so important for Jacksonville's offense to get off to a good start in this football game. Get a lead early and hang on. Trey?
Primetime continues with the Steelers and Cardinals, a rematch of Super Bowl 43. Big Ben and company out there. We're having fun now. Here's why they're having fun, because the Steelers wide receivers are real good. Oh, they're on their 5. They're down. It's really bad. No, it's really, really good. Mike Wallace, and there he goes into track speed. 95-yard touchdown, longest pass in Steelers history. 6 straight games he's had at least a 40-yard catch. Tim, how does he do it?
Well, they motion Mike Wallace to get the defender off of him. That gets Mike Wallace running with him. You saw that speed, slips the defender inside, but then stacks him, widens back out, gives Ben a perfect spot to throw that football. and then nobody's going to catch him.
Like a gazelle he is. Unbelievable. All right, Steelers up 17-14, 3rd and 5. Who needs two hands?
Wow, they practice this all the time. Ben Roethlisberger just puts it out there, left hand, no problem.
Gain of 13 on the play and gets both feet down. Later in the drive, Ben feeling pressure, avoids it. Emmanuel Sanders gets into the act, and there's a touchdown. Ben had 3 touchdown passes on the day. So the first drive of the game for the Cardinals going up against that Steelers defense, and Lawrence Timmons is unaccounted for, and that usually leads to bad things.
Well, it's not good.
It's not great.
It's not how you draw it up.
No, there's pressure, errant throw, intercepted by Ryan Clark. Again, when you don't see him coming, that's a problem. Somebody's got to pick him up.
Yeah, either somebody's got to pick him up or a receiver's got to be expecting the football to come out quickly.
No, let's do this again. This time it's Lamar Woodley. Now listen, Lamar's a huge man. How do you not know where he is? First of all, they said it was incomplete. Then they ruled it was a safety. Big win, 32-20. Stop! Tebow time!
Oh, hammer time.
Here it is.
Tebow time.
All hail Tim Tebow getting his first start of the year in Miami. Talking to his former coach Urban Meyer. Again, the Dolphins chose to honor the national championship team at Florida, so they're honoring the visiting quarterback to try and sell tickets. That was
brilliant.
Almost intercepted.
It worked. They sold
it. Did 20,000. He sacked Tim, you know, he spun around back to the field, sacked by Jared Odrick, and then later 3rd and 14. No, ball comes out. The Broncos would recover, but would be forced to punt. Listen, for the first 55 minutes, it was hard to watch.
It was brutal.
It was
bad
really
football.
Bad.
You know, long foul ball there, not giving the receiver a chance to make a play on the football, missing throws.
Well, watch this next one coming up to Eric Decker. I mean, there's a touchdown waiting.
Well, and it doesn't matter if it's a Pro Bowl wide receiver or a number 1 wide receiver. When a guy's open, the guy's open. You got to hit him.
So, again, they had 2 yards passing with about 7 minutes to play in this game.
Not what you're looking for.
And they were down 15-0. And suddenly, it was if everything started to work. There's a great throw to Matt Willis. Has some room to run and a gain of 34 on the play. Again, they're only down 15 points, which is 2 scores. And then later, Tebow, well, he did this many times in this game, created something out of nothing with his feet.
And this was really his best run of the game here. You see him moving around with the spin move, breaks the tackle, gets him down a little bit closer.
Picks up 14 yards, so just under 3 minutes to play on 3rd and 3. Again, getting away from the pressure. And Demaryius Thomas for the 5-yard score.
What's interesting as I study him, he throws it better when he moves to the right than he does to the left. And being a left-handed quarterback, that is just odd.
All right, so they're down 15-7. They go for the onside kick. Marlon Moore has it for the Dolphins, but loses it as he comes down. I mean, this was right in his hands.
Yeah, and it's a play you are expected to make if you're on the hands team. He has it. You know you're going to get hit. You just got to hold on to that football.
So Denver comes up with it after the unbelievable bounce. And this, maybe, was the throw of the day.
And catch.
And Daniel Fells, a rope. That was a rope.
Well, it's not a rope, it's a wobbling rope. But
it's a rope nonetheless.
Placement is what it matters.
Only place it could be.
Where it needs to be.
Only place it could be. 2 plays later. This, by the way, was a great play design.
It's a great play design. They roll him out to the left. He'd been running on them, and the throwback screen to the tight end worked perfectly.
Okay, so now you know they got to go for a 2-point conversion. And didn't everybody know Tim Tebow was going to run that except the Dolphins defense?
There's 11 guys who obviously didn't. The rest of the world did, but the Miami Dolphin defense.
They had nobody behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, by formation, they empty it, but it's the alignment and how you treat this. You know, the angle that you come at off the slot. I mean.
Well, Will Allen comes up the field. That creates the lane.
Yeah, you know, and then you get blown off the ball at the line of scrimmage. There's a whole litany of things that are wrong here from the Miami perspective.
So now it's fired up. We go to overtime. By the way, the Dolphins won the coin toss because Kyle Orton, the captain, had to go out there and call the coin toss. So there you go. And then Matt Moore gets sacked by DJ Williams. Broncos recover it. They went 3 straight running plays. So, I mean, they really trusting Matt Prater to nail a 52-yarder for the win. He had missed 2 earlier. But Broncos win 18-15. Well, what can you say? I mean, for 55 minutes, every critic who has said the things that Tebow can't do was absolutely proved correct. However, for the final 5 minutes, and I guess some part of overtime, Tim Tebow found a way to get something done and made some unbelievable throws. Did we learn anything more about Tim Tebow watching this game than we knew before the game started?
Well, I did. I actually learned a couple more things. You know, one, with the elongated motion, I don't think people understand. When you hear elongated motion, well, what does that equate to the National Football League? Here's what it equates to defensive coordinators, is I can get there. If you're going to give me a half a second, a split second longer to throw the football, I'm coming after you. I'm going to come after you in ways that your offensive line can't account for me and that I can get home. Here's a great example. I'm telling you this, folks, studying tape, watching. You very seldom send a blitzer that deep when a guy's in shotgun. You're nearly 14 yards away from getting home. You're not going to get there, especially when the slot receiver is wide open. If you get a guy who has a good delivery, awareness of what's going on, that ball's gone. He now takes a shot. I know there was pass interference or roughing the quarterback there, but they do it again. After his long run, line of scrimmage, quarterback's 5-6 yards deep, got 9 yards off. That is a long ways to get home. But if you believe that his elongated motion and he's unsure of where you're going, you're coming after him. This is a way that nobody can be accounted for. The offensive linemen are hard. Your back releases. He's free, but your quarterback doesn't see it. The accuracy, we saw it. He struggled with that. The elongated motion, you're starting to see now people that are going to come after him. And probably the thing that actually was probably most disturbing, this whole thing, is that a guy in his second year was so unaware where the ball should go. He looked so confused. He looked like he didn't understand or digest what the Miami Dolphins were doing for a majority of that time. That, to me, these other two things, I think we've talked a lot about.
Right.
But that one really stood out. I thought he'd be better at that, having at least going into his second year.
Well, you think he looked more confused than I did. I didn't think he looked confused. Some of those plays there, I mean, the offensive line's got to pass that off. It just becomes a new Mike linebacker. You got to pass that off.
9 yards off, brother.
Yeah, listen, when you time it up like that, you got to
9
pass
yards
it
off,
off, which is exactly what they tried to do.
9
you
yards
get
off.
that back on the telestrator. He didn't look confused to me. Now, did he miss throws? Absolutely, the guy missed throws. At times, guys running free wide open, and he misses them. You can't do that, and you've talked about this, being consistent at the quarterback position. You miss throws, that's hard to do. But this is a different guy now. And so I think when you look at him just in terms of the production, the offensive production, throws for 160-something, rushes for 60-something, he ends up throwing 2 touchdowns, running a 2-point conversion. There was production there. Not the same type of production you see other quarterbacks have, but there was production there, and he did give his team a chance to win. Now, I will say this about him. As awful as it was, and it was as bad as anybody I've seen, okay?
Now, Kyle Bowler played worse.
But listen, it was really bad, okay? It is hard to then, when you've played so bad for that long in a game, to then rally, to then kind of say, okay, we're still in this thing. It's hard for your football team, it's hard for your quarterback, it's hard for your coaching staff, for everyone to stick with you. That's what they did, and I think that goes for something for Tim Tebow.
I agree.
They continue to fight for him, with him, and he continued to battle through it. That's hard to do.
That's the undefinable thing that I think so many people gravitate towards.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. We act like he's the only guy in the NFL has. Let me tell you this. Tonight you're going to see a guy named Ray Lewis. Plays with the same intensity, brings the same but if you looked at his skill set to play the linebacker position, it's a 10 out of 10. Tim Tebow's quarterback skill set is a 4 to a 3 out of 10. Now, he's going to get the most out of it, don't get me wrong. But when you see this, there's one other thing. I played for Chuck Noll. I played for Bill Cowher, guys I respect, okay? Great leaders. And they talked about in this league, and I would say that probably every team talks about this, it is key. You have to play within structure. If you looked at the structure of their offense, he probably played 5 or 6 plays within the structure of the offense. Until you can play about 85 to 90% of your plays within structure, you're never going to be consistent.
Their structure is changing, though. Their structure is changing, though.
Their structure's in flux now because of this move.
They said they weren't changing their offense. They changed their offense. They were running different type of veer option. They had designed quarterback runs. They're creating more structure for him.
We'll find out if that structure takes place when they take on the Detroit Lions coming up this week. That game will be in Denver. All right, meanwhile, you mentioned Carson Palmer and Kyle Bowler.
Did we?
Yeah.
Kyle Bowler.
There's Carson. Again, he did not start the game. Kyle Bowler did start the game, and here is the start as Carson watched that Kyle Bowler got off to. Here's the first pass. That's a pick 6 for Kendrick Lewis. 59 yards the other way. Chiefs lead 7-0. Okay, Kyle's like, that wasn't great. Carson's like, boy, I hope that doesn't happen to me. And then Kyle Bowler throws deep and overthrows Denarius Moore, and that pass is intercepted by Brandon Flowers. Give the Chiefs credit. The secondary and their defense played really well.
They were outstanding.
They were great. Carson Palmer, Terrell Pryor going, wow, that's not what we're looking for.
We're not out there.
Yeah, and then there's this one, underthrown, picked up by Brandon Carr, his third interception, and then Carson, get the chicken wing loose, okay?
It has to get better, right?
Well, let's see. Here comes Carson Palmer. Made the trade in the third quarter. Oh, the Raider fans, that's who we're talking about. It's Carson Palmer. Until he does this. And that's picked up by Flowers, and he's going the other way. 58 yards, and that made it 28-0. And it wasn't over for Carson. Later in the fourth, 2nd and 10, the Raiders driving. That ball's tipped up in the air.
The ball's behind him.
Yes, it is. Picked up by John McCross.
Can't imagine their timing's real good right now.
Second interception, and then Lewis Murphy overthrows him, Travis Daniel. So they each get 3 picks and a pick 6 as the Chiefs shut out the Raiders, 28-0. When we continue here on NFL Primetime, it had been going so well for the Lions. Now we got to see how they deal in crisis after a second straight loss. Victory, thy name is Newton. Finally, the results go along with the amazing stats that Cam has been putting up all season long in Carolina.
NFL Primetime is streaming live on your computer, tablet, or smartphone via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Best measured not on a clock,
Everything you got,
but in your gut. The countdown to kickoff.
How do you want to be remembered?
A new butterfly born with every tick, fluttering around inside, until you're ready to fly. At game time.
After a mediocre start to his career, Denver's Brandon Lloyd became one of the league's top threats. In his first 7 seasons, Lloyd totaled 15 touchdowns and didn't come close to recording 1,000 yards receiving. In 2010, he led the league with nearly 1,500 receiving yards and caught 11 touchdowns while earning his first Pro Bowl invitation. If Lloyd continues to play like he did last season, he should help the Broncos get out of the AFC West basement and back on track to winning the division.
Hey, Ovi.
Hey, what's up?
What are you doing in the dark, man?
Nothing, just the late night filings.
Really? Late night filing? What are you, a Russian spy or something?
Yeah, right.
All right, I'll catch you later.
Yeah, see ya. Пронесло. Да, уж чуть не спалили.
Sports Center, weekday mornings at 0700 CET, live on ESPN America.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Bud Light.
Don't forget to check out NFL 32, our new interactive entertaining show. Susie and Mort hosting most days. Weekdays, 6 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. They are really into the Twitterati on that show. NFL 32. Primetime rolls on with the Falcons and the Lions. Jim Schwartz and company have been on such a roll until they lost that game to the Niners, trying to get their mojo back at home. First quarter, Lions driving after a Matt Ryan interception, but Matt Stafford's going nowhere. John Abraham brings him down for a loss of 5. Well, that ain't good. So on the very next play, out of the gun, Sean Weatherspoon gets there for a loss of 9. They'd settle for a field goal, and you see Stafford getting his left arm looked at there on the bench by the training staff. All right, the Lions are down 17-6 in the third. Went out of the gun. Oh, can't get Calvin Johnson. So now it's 2nd and goal. And Tim, this pass was a little behind Nate Burleson.
It was, and the one before you get sloppy footwork, which is why he doesn't complete it to Calvin. An inaccurate throw there. Just not really in rhythm the way we've seen Matthew Stafford earlier this season.
And what else they have down there?
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
One dimension.
Lions would settle for a field goal 17-9. Now the Lions down 20-19. Stafford fakes the end around and 20-9 rather, excuse me. Calvin Johnson, 57 yards. You can't contain him for the entire game.
And Calvin Johnson is so strong. Look at him run through contact to get vertical. Then the ball's on him.
See ya.
And look at him split the defenders. It's unbelievable for a guy his size.
Lions down 20-16. He's really good. You know who's Hall of Fame good? Congratulations. Passes Marvin Harrison on the career receptions list. Only Jerry Rice is in front of him, although he said correctly, no one's catching Jerry Rice. Next play, out of the gun. Oh, Roddy White, Merrill Hodge, what a catch.
You know what? This offense has become more explosive that once they got back to running the football and fitting into what this personnel is about up front. Roddy White now becoming their explosive player.
And fitting into their personnel means finding their identity, and Merrill, they're getting back to that with Michael Turner.
Big time. And I loved how all the different types of runs you saw. You saw a little run action. Look at that little fake pass real quick. Freezing the second level, getting Michael Turner in the secondary. I will tell you this. Nobody in the secondary National Football League wants to take that guy one-on-one.
That was a gain of 52, 27 carries, 122 yards, 400-yard game of the season, second straight. Then less than 2 minutes remaining, Lions down 23-16. It's a 4th and 10. Stafford out of the gun. Actually, good throw here to Brandon Pettigrew, but he sort of bounces it off his hands. But as you see, it's Stafford. Curtis Lofton sort of falls on his leg as he throws the ball. He would walk off with the trainers. Jim Schwartz says he is day-to-day right now, Stafford is, as the Lions lose their second straight, 23-16. Matthew Stafford, a former #1 overall pick, and then there's Cam Newton, this year's #1 overall pick, and he continues to impress as the Redskins came to town, and they, of course, had the quarterback change. There will be no change in quarterback in Carolina for a long time. Long. Almost as long as this play is going to take. This is pretty good. A 25-yard gain when there was literally nothing there to be had.
You know what I think is most impressive about this run? He was literally forced into running.
Right.
Forced in.
And you know what else? Doesn't take senseless hits on the sideline.
Right. Getting much better at getting down and getting out.
Led to a field goal there, and then Newton on this play ties Vince Young for the most rushing touchdowns by a rookie with 7. Panthers up 16-6, and then there was Tim Hightower. Boy, this looked bad the moment it happened.
You know, he really started off
ran well.
Nice,
did run really well. You're right.
Getting him the ball early. He was running hard, hitting the hole. But this one right here.
This is the one I'm referring to. He makes that cut, and you see he just goes down right there, and on the cart, not return, and you can see the knee just completely gives. Got on the cart, and he was done, and trying to keep him going, because that was by far the best game he's had so far. And then Cam Newton and Steve Smith. You know, we always talk about Wes Welker and the receiving yards he's gotten. Steve Smith is having a remarkable year.
And I'll tell you this, when the ball is up and the moment of truth, this guy is the best in the NFL.
And here's the prime Tim dime. The E is silent.
The E is silent, Trey, and this ball is placed beautifully. And we really could have taken about 5 of Cam Newton's throws in this game and made him the prime time dime. But look at that ball location in between the defenders. Steve Smith able to bring it down.
7 grabs, 143 yards, and then touchdown pass to Brandon LaFell. Panthers win 33-20. 33 plus 20 is 53. Put them together, still short of what Drew Brees and company put up on the Indianapolis Colts Sunday night. It was a blowout and evisceration. And move over Emmett. Here comes DeMarco Murray, a rookie in the Cowboys record book.
He struck him out!
Brian Wilson, we'll go with out there.
I feel like I want to rage right now.
The act off the field is kind of funny at times.
I'm getting my beard off the mic there.
And then when he gets on the field, he's one of the best competitors in the game.
Baseball tonight, all season on ESPN America.
Halliday looking in, fires, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Swing and a miss, he got it. Breaking ball, got it.
Classic Halliday. When your breaking ball's not quite there, what do you do to try to get it back?
Well, for me, so much of it is a grip. So what I started to do is when it was really good, I felt like it was all in the way my hands were and where my finger pressure was. So when it was really good, I figured, well, how am I going to remember this?
And that one ate him off for strike 3, a filthy pitch by Halliday.
It seemed like I'd have it really good for 2 weeks, and then I'd lose it for a month. And then it'd come back and I'd have it for 2 weeks. and I was always, you know, trying to mess around, figure out exactly how I had it.
I can relate. I'd lose it for 2 years sometimes.
Finally, what I did was, you know, when it was really good, I decided, you know, I'm just going to hold it how it feels right now, where it feels comfortable. You know, I just take the pen, outline the fingers basically in each spot. You know, something I could go back to and just put my fingers on it here and here, and then
You would keep that ball with you all year
I
long?
still have it. I've had it for 5 years. Yeah.
Something as simple as that is able to get you that feel back right away.
Yeah, it is. And the big thing for me is getting my thumb underneath it. And I'd go back and I'd grip it. I'd grip the ball and look down, and my thumb's over here, and the thumb mark on the ball's over here. You know, I'm off by 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. And I mean, that's a big difference. So just something to go back to kind of have a base.
I'm Prim Saripapat. Coming up tonight on SportsCenter, the Rangers shut out the Cardinals in Game 4 to even the World Series 2-2. We'll have highlights and analysis from Arlington, Texas. And in Week 7 of the NFL, a Dallas Cowboys rookie finds himself in the record books, topping some Hall of Famers. And on the racetrack, only 4 races remain in the chase for the Sprint Cup. At Talladega, Clint Boyer walks away with the checkered flag. What effect does it have on the NASCAR standings? We'll have all that coming up on SportsCenter.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa. More fans go with Visa.
Year of the Quarterback continues Wednesday night with an inside look at Arkansas quarterbacks led by their starter Tyler Wilson. Year of the Quarterback, the depth chart, Arkansas, Wednesday, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Speaking of quarterbacks, let's take a look at some teams that are down on their luck, and boy, they maybe would like to get Andrew Luck. It would not be the Saints we're talking about. There's Sean Payton, head coach, of course, had to coach upstairs. There's Peyton Manning not playing. There's Drew Brees, and that's all you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. Final score, 62-7. Okay, we're kidding. We're kidding. Let's show you what happened, but that's what they're wishing we would do in Indianapolis, trust me. This was complete and utter domination from start to finish. Drew Brees to Marcus Colston. Are you kidding me with this catch, Tim?
Look at the way he goes up and gets it and then cups it with his right hand while his left hand is being pulled away from him. Nicely done.
7-0. And then how about the offensive line?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I thought they did a great job, up front, but play calling. You know, a lot of quick screens, neutralizing the pass rushers for the Indianapolis Colts. Never letting those guys get in rhythm by making them chase plays like this.
57-yard game would lead to another touchdown. Brees to Darren Sproles, and he's in. Sproles 107 yards of offense, 2 touchdowns. It's 21-0. During halftime, Sean Payton saying,
dog. Why not?
Why not? I'm hungry. We're fine. The Saints have 339 yards of offense in the first half. And then to Jimmy Graham, Jimmy Like gets in for the score. Oh, and come on. I mean, come on. And that jump ball, just go
seriously.
get it. They had 36 first downs. 36! The Saints win 62-7. Let's go inside the numbers to talk about what you saw and what an unbelievable destruction it was. The 62 points are tied for the most points by any team in a single game since the AFL-NFL merger of 1970. Drew Brees was almost perfect. He had more touchdowns than incompletions. The Saints' 55-point blowout was tied for the 3rd best again since the AFL-NFL merger of 1970. So that was a passing display, the likes of which we rarely see. Now let's go to a running display, the likes of which we rarely see. Tony Romo, this is the first game the Cowboys have played not decided one way or the other by Tony Romo in any way, shape, or form.
That's a good thing.
In any way, shape, or form.
Going on the upside.
And there's DeMarco Murray, and goodbye. One cut, and he's gone. 91 yards to the house. Only Tony Dorsett longer in Cowboys history. Merrill, show me what happens here.
We're going to have a massive seal here. Where the linebacker gets dug out by the fullback. We're downfield with the tight end. And we have a seal here, a seal there, and a canale. It's a canyon and an alley altogether. It's a canale.
And when you have a canale, you should always eat a cannoli. 7-0 Cowboys. And by the way, DeMarco had one of those crazy games with a long run. If you took away the long run, he still had 150-something yards on 20-something carries.
Impressive the way he was hitting the hole. And then when he got into the open field, I I mean, this guy looked like he was for real in the open field.
Look how he runs behind his pads. I love that.
Now, he just sort of fell down there, but 253 yards, erasing Emmitt Smith from the Cowboys record books for the single most rushing yards in a game. And why not Philip Tanner? Philip, stop. Tanner time gets in for the score. Cowboys roll. This is the first of their last 12 games not decided by 4 points or less. 34-7. Cowboys win big. So after watching their dismal performances in Week 7, Colts, Dolphins, and Rams are in that three-team race for Andrew Luck. Colts and Dolphins both on the road next week. While the Rams are at home, it does not get any easier for St. Louis. The Saints come marching in after that 62-7 smackdown. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the game of the week. And if you like field goals, this was your game. Charlie Whitehurst.
And not a lot of them.
No. He got to start. That's no good. Sacked by Jamie Mitchell. For those Benny Hill aficionados out there, you're welcome.
That's not what you're looking for, right?
No, a fumble's trying to throw the swing pass. And then look at this illustration.
You know how long and hard you have to work at these things?
TJ Ward.
They don't just happen.
Oh, boy. It was bad.
That's not right.
This was wrong on so many levels.
Yeah.
Whitehurst throwing it deep. And that's for Sheldon Brown. Charlie was 12 of 30 for 97 yards and an interception.
Huh. That's not how we drew it up.
Yeah. Then there's Red Bryant. He did some good things.
He did.
Kick blocked. Very good. You know what? You want to do it once? You want to see him do it twice?
Let's see him do it another time.
There you go.
There he is.
Big Red comes through with the block. So the Seahawks stay within one score.
Can you believe this guy's been cold?
Yeah, it wasn't all good for him.
Watch this.
Oh.
Yeah, he headbutt Alex Smith. That's no good. 6-3, your final score. TD free is not the way to be. That's not what you want. You're giving out the primetime performers and who's hungry, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. Sunday's best coming.
NFL Primetime is presented by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Welcome to the ESPN Player, your source for college sports. It's all live, all on demand, and all from €9.99 a month. Sign up now.
The #1 team in the nation, Oklahoma, visiting #5, Florida State in Tallahassee.
Game on. Touchdown. This is not how Florida State wants to start the game.
Oklahoma leads Florida State 7-3 in the first quarter. E.J. Manuel comes back, fires, deflected, intercepted, picked off by Tom Ward. The Sooners are in business with that turnover.
Very important to start off the second half with some momentum.
E.J. Manuel running all the way for the first down, but it looks like E.J. Manuel's hurt.
He took a shot from Travis Lewis.
Seminole quarterback E.J. Manuel is going back to the Knowles locker room to receive medical attention. Redshirt freshman Clint Trickett will be coming in. Can the Knowles come back with a backup quarterback in the fourth quarter? We'll find out. Trickett goes deep. Great grab. Breaking free. 15, 10. Green. Touchdown. 56 yards. And a very upset Oklahoma defense here. 22 yards, pump fake by Jones. Gonna go deep down the far side. Got a man open in the end zone. Stills grabs a touchdown.
Impressive. Tough environment. They definitely made a statement, justified that #1 ranking.
One team at the top, time after time, might leave fans wanting something new. But winning never gets old for the winning team. If you can dream it, you can do it. And some people do more than they dream.
Who's Hungry is brought to you by Snickers, who reminds you to play hungry, but not literally hungry. And watch the film The Man Who Played Literally Hungry at NFL.com/Snickers.
All right, Sunday's best. Time for Who's Hungriest, Who Earned It. Tim?
The Houston Texans offensive line was hungry. Look at Arian Foster over 100 yards. Ben Tate over 100 yards. They got after it. They get my Who's Hungry.
All right. Merrill?
DeMarco Murray was starving. Anytime you can put your name above Emmitt Smith, And Tony Dorsett, that's a heck of a day.
Actually, behind Tony Dorsett because he had a 99-yarder, but in the same conversation.
Still hungry.
I'm with you. I'm going with Arian Foster. He had 234 all-purpose yards, over 100 rushing, over 100 receiving, and 3 touchdowns in the 41-7 win over the Tennessee Titans. So we're sort of on the same page. By the way, bad news for the Washington Redskins. It is confirmed Tim Hightower is going to miss the rest of the year, torn ACL there on that play. So obviously that was difficult. But it's also difficult working with both of you. But I enjoy it.
See how we feel.
I know. You have it twice as bad. Thanks for watching Primetime. Appreciate the knot, please. Just look at the knot.
We run out of the tunnel with the top 3 stories on College Football Live. First, the BCS gets a shakeup as 2 of the big dogs get upset Saturday. Who was the biggest